Does the story of friendly foes in this Booker's batch outshine the flavors? Let's find out. Stay tuned.
Cynple Whiskey, Cyncere. Here to keep it 100. What's the ABV? Keep it simple. Cynple Whiskey. And be sweeter.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Cynple Whiskey Show. I'm Cyncere, and tonight we're diving into Booker's 2024-04 Jimmy's Batch. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bells to stay up to date on all things Cynple Whiskey. This bold 125.8 proof bottle has a lot of hype to live up to, especially given that Booker's usually puts out some pretty decent bottles. This particular bottle isn't just about bourbon, though. It's a tribute to one of the most important friendships in bourbon history. Booker's 2024-04 Jimmy's Batch is named after legendary master distiller Jimmy Russell at Wild Turkey and lifelong friend and competitor Booker No. And these two men weren't just colleagues, they were lifelong competitors turned companions, a relationship that has inspired bourbon lovers everywhere, including myself. So as you read through the story on the card that comes with it, it pretty much sums up Jimmy was like family to the Bean clan. Booker's son, Fred No, says Jimmy was like a second father after Booker passed away. This batch was created to honor Jimmy's mentorship and his unwavering dedication to bourbon and the people who enjoy it. That's the kind of legacy that they want this bottle to represent. Now, before we get to sipping, how exactly did I come across this bottle? Well, by accident, of course. Some days I go to the ABC store on a mission, other days I just go to look. On this particular day, I was on mission hunting a bottle of Buffalo Trace to add to my collection of backups, because every time I go through one, I replace it even if I have 4 more left, because you never know when we're going to get back to that point to where Buffalo Trace is allocated again. So I'll try to keep at least 6 on deck for my daily sipper reserve. Don't judge, I know you're not. The question I have to ask myself this particular day is, why must ABC have something else that I actually want on the day that I'm going for something that in my mind I think I need? 14 bottles of Booker's just sitting behind the counter. It's almost like they're tempting me to buy something outside of what I had budgeted for. So here's where the dilemma kicks in. Do I stick to the plan and scoop up a bottle of Buffalo Trace, or do I splurge a little bit and get me a bottle of Booker's to try to round out my collection? In the back of my mind, I decided, you know what, I'm going to pass on it. Then the clerk looks at me and says, you come in here all the time looking for something, talking about you want to do reviews on it. I've seen you get Buffalo Trace a lot. You're telling me that we finally have something that you've asked about in the past and you're not going to get it? Peer pressure wins out in this particular instance, especially because it was coming from my handy dandy ABC guy. And that's how I ended up with this bottle of Booker's, which goes to show it pays to be a regular, or you pay to be a regular, and it doesn't take much to twist my arm to buy a new bourbon. Let's find out if the bourbon is as good as the story. Let's get this in. So Booker's is known for its bold, uncut, and unfiltered flavor profiles, so I'm expecting big things on this one. And let's start with the nose. Right off the bat, I get peanut brittle. There's also a strong hint of toasted oak, dark caramel, and even a touch of, I think, orange zest. Definitely rich, definitely inviting. Let's take a sip. Woo! First sip of the night. This one is packed with flavor. Up front, I get brown sugar, charred oak, baking spice, super strong flavors. Again, first sip of the night, so everything comes through a little bit more amped up. It's warm, but it's not overpowering. It's classic Booker's. The finish is long, lingering, a little bit of dark chocolate, toasted oak, a subtle nuttiness that just sticks around. It's bold, very balanced, keeps you coming back for another sip, so I will. Even better once I've given my palate a second to warm up after that first sip. All hints of spiciness go away and they all just transition to smooth flavors. Everything I said times 3, but even more smooth from the first go around. Let's add a little bit of water to it just to see what that does to open this one up a little bit. So the nose just mutes down a little bit. Nothing outrageously great about the openings, so to speak, on the nose, on the palate. Between already having my initial sip, as well as adding the water, super smooth. It does bring a little bit more of that sweetness forward. More often than not, when I add water to something, I tend to get a little bit stronger or a sweeter caramel note. Same case on this, but I do get a little bit more of a, almost like a peanut butter cookie note that I didn't get the first time around. Definitely softens it up a little bit. I'm also getting a new like butterscotchy note, which could tie back to that caramel note. A little bit of vanilla, along with a little bit more pronounced caramel note, like I mentioned. And the oak remains strong, but a little bit smoother. Definitely worth trying if you want to tone down the heat. But again, I think that my advice would be take your first sip, don't put water yet, try a second sip, get what you get out of that, then determine whether or not you think you still need to tamp it down or quote unquote try to open it up a little bit more. All right, simple thoughts on Booker's 2024-04 Jimmy's batch. MSRP on this one, $99.99. That's the most I'll pay for any Bookers nowadays, solely because, in my opinion, everything that keeps just going up and going up and going up, sometimes you end up pricing yourself out. Secondary, more often than not, even when I've seen these in other states, I usually see them at the $99 mark. I have bought a couple of them at $89.99. Age on this one, 7 years, 9 months, 19 days. Pretty solid for Booker's release. I'm fine with the 7-year age statement. I know a lot of folks want 8 and higher on Bookers, and I do have a couple that may have hit that mark that were better. Proof, 125.8, right there in my sweet spot. I like anything 125 to 140 if I can find anything that high. So for me, a little bit of punch, a little bit of heat to it, but still very sippable. Distillery, Jim Beam. So does the story of friendly foes outshine the flavors in this particular batch? If you're a Booker's fan and like bold, high-proof bourbons, definitely a buy in my book. $99 a bottle. Not a buying back up per se. I do feel like I won't be going back to this one daily or anything like that. I will throw it into my tournament style end of year bourbons to see where it stacks up, but not a must-have to have 2 of them. But again, I'm glad I bought it. This isn't one that will collect dust on the shelf by any means, but at the same token, it won't be a every Friday night pour type thing. Could this be one of the best Booker's batches of this year? Maybe I'll do a blind test to figure it out. Again, I don't have 03, but I think I'll do 01, 02, 04, and Little Book. And let me know down in the comments below if that's something that you'd be interested in seeing. Also in the comments below, let me know if you've tried this and what you think of it. And also let me know if you've tried Little Book Chapter 8, Path Not Taken. And let me know if you like that one as well. And if you've enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, stay up to date on all things Cynple Whiskey. And I'll leave you with this. Life's a lot like a bottle of Booker's. It might come in a fancy box, but overall it's what's inside that matters. And just like Jimmy and Booker proved, even competitors can pour a glass, share a laugh, and lift each other up every now and then. So here's to great whiskey and even better friends. And until next time, keep it simple. Cheers.